Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. We're at the Lobbyist table here at the state legislature. Randi Thompson joins me. Who's on the rundown today?
Well, we have the Senate Minority Leader and gubernatorial candidate, Dina Titus, and the man that's usually standing here, Harvey Whittemore.
And also coming up on the program today on our Power Pundit panel, Alfredo Alonso, Chris Wicker, and Fred Hillerby. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
High-tech companies demand perfect world amenities. They require clean, reliable power, state-of-the-art fiber optic communications, and clean water sources. In a perfect world, companies would have immediate access to rail and interstate freeways. There would be 4-lane expressways that shorten shipping times and provide convenient commute routes for valued employees. Well, the future is now, and it's here. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
Coverage of Nevada Newsmakers from the state legislature in Carson City is brought to you by the Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
You bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
This is a special edition of Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
Nevada Newsmakers, welcome to the program. Dina Titus, the Senate Minority Leader, welcome to the program. Always a pleasure to have you here. Mason-Dixon released a poll last week that showed that you have 31% recognition to Richard Perkins' 16% recognition in a Democratic primary, with 53% undecided. How did you respond to that? Did it surprise you?
Well, I think that straight talk pays off. People are listening to what I have to say, and they like what I stand for, and it's reflected in those numbers.
You know, I got to throw this out,
okay?
Because it comes up a lot. Your accent. You're from the South, and there are people that say that you're going to have trouble being elected governor of the state of Nevada because of your accent. How do you respond to people who say things like that? Is it foolish?
Yes, I think that's crazy. Look how many people have come to Nevada from other places. Besides, I've been here for 30 years teaching at UNLV. I'm a Nevadan by choice, if not by birth. And actually, Dad was at Nellis in my first year here, so I've kind of come back to Nevada. I don't think it's going to make a bit of difference.
Now, Peter Arnott was on the show last week speaking very strongly of his support for Mr. Perkins, saying pretty much anybody but Gibbons. Are you surprised that he's come out that vocal for Mr. Perkins?
Nothing that Peter Arnott does surprises me, I can tell you, after seeing him around this building. They're old friends from the Assembly, and having the #1 Republican operative supporting you doesn't help Mr. Perkins in a primary. And so if Pete says anybody but Gibbons, I'm anybody but Gibbons.
Very true. Well, I found it funny that the quote in the paper about with the poll was Mr. Perkins saying he wants to fly under the radar, and well, obviously his poll numbers are showing that it's worth it. It's working. I mean, he's not exactly getting on anybody's radar screen at this point.
Well, and that's surprising because he controls the gavel. You know, he's put himself as the chair of some interesting committees. He's put out a lot of bills, including a couple he copied from me. So maybe the strategy is working. He is under the radar screen, as you say.
Running for governor, you're going to have to run, obviously, statewide.
Right.
And there are a few comments that you made about Washoe County over the years. Back in 1991, you said, for years, Washoe County has been a sponge just soaking up the income that's been earned by the blood and sweat of miners, gamblers, ranchers throughout the whole rest of the state. They don't want taxes, they don't want growth, they just want a handout. In 1997, when many Washoe County residents were living in shelters and flea bag motels after a 100-year flood swamped their homes, you suggested that flood victims might pad their list of losses in order to rebuild their lives.
No, that's not true. I suggested Washoe might do that, and I call Washoe a rascal, and I've known him here for 16 years. He is a rascal, and we all joked about that. You know, Sam, that was my first session when I said that about Washoe County. I was fighting very hard for District 7. That was the tax shift battle. You know, I think people want a fighter. I think they know I'll fight just as hard for them when they're my constituents. So that's my message. I'm not running away from that. I fought for District 7, and I'll fight for all of Nevada. And I think people would rather have that than somebody who just sits around and doesn't tell them what's happening or do anything for them.
You certainly are outspoken.
Now, your sex offender bill was in Assembly Judiciary last week, and Mr. Anderson, as chairman of Judiciary, is hearing that bill. Now, he's come out in support of Perkins, and understand that bill might be changed a little bit and actually put into an Assembly bill and your name taken off of it. So is Mr. Perkins using his troops to kind of hurt your campaign a little bit?
Well, it doesn't hurt my campaign a bit, but certainly there's mischief going on down the hall. Nothing's going to come out with my name on it. You've seen my entertainment tax rolled into an Assembly bill. You've seen this one rolled into probably Orenshaw's bill. But this is not about getting credit, whose name's on the bill. People don't care about that. They care about the issue. What's important to me is that we get that sex offender bill passed. That is critical because, look, we've got children every day practically. You hear a new story. So if they want to put somebody else's name on it, fine. It's my bill. I care about it. I think the people of Nevada care more about that than whose name's on it.
And is it going to happen? Is it going to pass? Because obviously that has been a big issue the past several years.
Well, if it doesn't, shame on them.
Let's talk about prescription drugs. Are we going to see this bill come through?
Well, this was Barbara Buckley's big bill, and I think it's a great bill. If we can buy drugs from Canada, the same safe drugs at less money, why shouldn't we do it? I'm a co-sponsor of that. You know, all those bills have been kind of played out at the congressional level, too, and they've been partisan. Democrats support them, Republicans don't. You may see some of that in the Senate this time around. I'm just not sure. It came out of committee, though, so that's a good sign.
Have you talked to the governor about it? Because he's the one with the most concerns.
Barbara talked to him. I have not. I've been focusing on some of my other bills, so I'm not sure if he really would veto it or not.
Now, another bill, SB 72, is in Ways and Means as well, which would increase the refund for seniors. Is that still moving forward, or was that kind of ousted with the freeze that was passed, or how do you see that kind of playing out?
Well, I certainly hope we do that. I mean, I still think the freeze was the best way to go. The freeze brought the cap down from 6 to 3, so I'm happy about that. But still, there are seniors who are on fixed low income, and we've always had that senior break, and those numbers haven't been increased since the 1970s. So again, if the Assembly doesn't want to pass that because my name's on it, they're going to have to answer to the voters, not to me.
Mos Arbery is looking to put together a commission that would actually raise the pay of legislators. Do you think that's a good thing to happen in this session?
Well, you know, we've had commissions in the past. I think Kenny Gwynn chaired one himself a number of years ago, and they always come with these recommendations. The public doesn't like to raise the money of legislators. They 3 times on the ballot wanted to increase our postage from $60 to something higher, and they rejected that. If you're not given a rebate and you're not given a tax break, I don't think you want to go and raise your own salary at a time like that.
Okay, but we are going to see a rebate, aren't we?
Well, I certainly support a rebate. The governor supports a rebate. There are lots of programs that are coming forward that need funding, and lots of them are really good programs. But I think there's enough money to reinvest in Nevada and still give the taxpayers some money back, because they should be the first priority.
As they should be, and I think they will be. Do you think, which rebate seems to be the best so far between yours as an insurance refund, the card credit, what seems to be the most favorite at this point?
I don't think there is a favorite. I think the governor still likes his. I think he's coming with an IRS ruling saying that you don't have to take it off your income tax. We'll wait and see if that's the case. I think all that may be worked out in a compromise, but the consensus is let's give some money back.
Yep.
I want to ask you a goofy question here that was suggested
Sam,
by
you
a
always
viewer.
ask me goofy questions.
That's my job. Somebody forwarded this question to me, and they said that the mud is really going to fly in this gubernatorial race. Before the mud really starts flying, and only a little bit has flown so far, could you cite anything positive that Richard Perkins or Jim Givens have accomplished?
Well, they've been in office a long time. They must be doing something right, or the voters wouldn't send them back. If you look at Richard and my voting record over the years, we're both Democrats. We're going to have a similar voting record, about 95%. I think it's a difference in style. It's a difference in who people identify with, a difference in integrity, a difference in leadership. That's the way that race will be played out. Now, the issues with Mr. Gibbons are going to be much more distinct, and I think you can look at what he's done in Congress and kind of tie all the things that have happened under the Bush administration to him. Deficit, look how huge the deficit is, cutting veterans, trying to privatize Social Security. Those are the issues that'll come back to be talked about. So it doesn't have to be mudslinging. It can be a positive race, but just discuss the issues.
So the main positive is that they've been in office for a long time.
You didn't think I was going to give you lots of pluses, did you? I'm the one who's running this race.
Always a pleasure to have you here. You're welcome here anytime. Dina Titus, we'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org. The National Mining Association.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, somebody who's been noticeably absent from the legislature for most of the session has been Nevada's premier lobbyist, who now is premier developer, Harvey Whittemore. Pleasure to have you on the program.
Thanks, Sam. Good to have you.
You're in here to testify on behalf of the Whittemore Family Foundation concerning a cancer institute that you want to put at UNR. Would you explain what that is?
In SB 105, the governor's recommended in his capital improvement program a new $10 million medical facility for the development of 2 or 3 separate programs, one of which is the Nevada Cancer Institute's Northern Nevada offices and research facilities. And then Governor Gwynn sought out private money to expand those facilities, which Annette and I have, on behalf of our family, pledged $2 million, and we're going to raise another $2 million to create a center of excellence to really create an environment where clinical research, diagnostic testing, and ultimately treatment can take place on the University of Nevada campus for people with immune dysfunctions.
You know, Harvey, I think this is really needed because when you look at people in Nevada, when you have Governor Gwynn, Jan Jones, former Governor Miller, they all have gone out of state for cancer treatment. With this new facility, would they be able to stay in state and get their treatment?
Well, the Nevada Cancer Institute's obviously done a phenomenal job. They've raised over $70 million for the Las Vegas major treatment facility. This would be a satellite research facility. So the combination, both from the Reno perspective and the Las Vegas perspective, is amazing. And what we want to do is build upon that by creating an environment where clinical research, laboratory testing, cutting-edge research can take place in Nevada. And obviously, we think that there are a number of things that have crossover. What you need is it's almost a situation where you have multidisciplinary crossover with respect to cancer. You see some of the things with respect to this HHV6 virus, which potentially are involved in chronic fatigue syndrome, which my daughter suffers from, MS, Alzheimer's, various cancers. So it's amazing when you start to see what we can do collectively. And obviously, this is just simply a great opportunity that the governor's given everybody to really create a center of excellence at the University of Nevada Medical School, which would be phenomenal for the state.
And your friend Larry Ruvo putting in an Alzheimer's center in Southern Nevada, which would be a premier facility as well.
Right. Larry's obviously had a little bit of a head start here with respect to the Alzheimer's Center. I think it's really critical that those people that have taken advantage of and really been blessed by all the things that we've received as a result of our participation in the state, that we give back. And that's one of the things that we're trying to, encourage our children to do and lead by example with respect to some of the things that we're doing.
Okay, now Harvey, the Whittemore Foundation, you've also generously donated to the athletic program at Western Nevada Community College. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Well, Annette and I decided some time ago that we were going to be involved in the WNCC program. Our son DJ, as you know, is the head coach, and they didn't have any athletic facilities. And so what we did with my partner Thompson, we decided to really sort of jumpstart the program, and what we've done is fund the complete development of the field. And the Board of Regents has approved naming that field after my grandfather, Reverend John L. Harvey, who was a Presbyterian minister here in Carson City for years and very involved in high school athletics. And so they named the field after him, which is a great honor.
So Harvey Field, it'll be kind of like named after you in a way, too.
Well, Ray, I don't know whether that's appropriate, but I think my grandfather deserved the honor a lot more than me.
Okay, about a year ago, you were on this program, and you said that you were not going to be seen very much here at the session at all. As you watch it to an extent from the sidelines, how do you feel? Do you not have the urge to just dive in there and take charge?
The good news is the telephone lines still work and the cell towers still transmit electric signals, so we've had the opportunity to visit quite a bit on a variety of issues. And obviously there is a part of me that really misses the activity associated with the legislature. I've had enough so that I guess from a perspective of just enough to have a fix. If you like sodas, you got to have a soda once a week. Well, I'm getting enough of the legislature, that's for sure.
Well, we appreciate you coming in today, and thank you for this tremendous donation to the state, and we hope everything goes well with your bill.
Thanks.
It's a pleasure to have you here, as always.
I'll be waiting for my check, Harvey.
We'll be right on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers with our distinguished Power Pundit panel today, Alfredo Alonso with Lionel, Sawyer, and Collins. We've got Fred Hillerby here and Chris Wicker, who is the chairman of the Washoe County Democratic Party. Welcome to all of you. Wanted to talk first about a non-local issue, but something that I think has implications for Nevada, which is the nuclear option being taken off the table in the Senate. This seems to be a monumental deal, and it looks to me, even though Senator Reid is not taking credit for it, a huge victory for Senator Reid. Would you say so?
I think so. I think what they do is they avoid a standoff, which obviously the public wasn't going to be too happy with. Ultimately, vote on most of the nominees, and some of the more controversial ones obviously will probably not get a vote. I think at the end of the day it's a great compromise, and it's a win-win for Senator Reid.
I think it's remarkable that they came to this. I think I'm a little bit of a skeptic. I just wonder how long it will last, but I think one of the things that it may mean is that our Attorney General Brian Sandoval's confirmation may come a little sooner than it looked like it was going to. At one point I think some of us thought that since Senator Reid was supporting him, as well as Senator Ensign and the President, that maybe they'd find a way to get him confirmed. But with all the uproar around this whole issue of the filibuster and so on, that wasn't going to happen. So now maybe Brian will get a confirmation hearing sooner than it looked like it was going to.
Well, I think that the shutdown of the Senate was not a very acceptable alternative for Democrats. I mean, we were running out of options, but I don't think the public would have been that happy, although I think the public understands the exercise of raw, naked power like President Bush did in renominating those nominees. And I'm pleased there was a compromise. I think it's too bad that some of these extremists are going to go to the court, but on the other hand, the filibuster remains, and I think it is a victory for Senator Reid. But I don't think he's going to tout it too much, because it's still a sensitive issue, I think.
Well, and I think it's more on the Hill where it's a big victory rather than necessarily in the public. I mean,
well, anything that James Dobson comes out against, I think it's a victory. So,
Alfredo, does this also put John McCain in position to be the next President of the United States?
I don't know if it puts him in a position, like we said, it's inside baseball. I think internally, I think he brokered a deal that may get him a lot of brownie points, so to speak, in the Beltway. I'm not so sure how that translates outside of the Beltway. I think Senator Reid's still going to get the credit for a lot of that. But does it help him with insiders? Probably so.
Well, I think Senator McCain's going to get skewered by the right wing of his party. I mean, they're already starting down that road, and so I think that to run for president, McCain has to get through a Republican primary, and I think the right wing of that party is.
But that's always been his problem anyway, and again, he's going to have problems with the right wing of the party regardless, and so he's just simply, being a maverick as he normally is.
It's just another stake in his heart.
Yeah.
But the process is going to work, and that's the bottom line. The moderates got together in both parties, and that's what Americans want to see. They're tired of this bickering. They're tired of the bickering that happens in any partisan situation, and I think it's actually a helpful victory as well for the Bush administration. At least they're going to get their folks to have a vote.
Right, and Bill Frisch should take some credit, because this wouldn't have happened without his approval.
Yeah, well, inside the building instead of inside the Beltway. And Fred was saying earlier, I mean, there's life outside this hallway right now. We are down to the last 2-week crunch, and I got a call last night at 9:30 from somebody that said, hey, such and such slipped this amendment into this bill, and this was a amendment that we all thought was dead. This is happening now, isn't it? The antics are beginning. The games are at play now at this point.
This is either a very dangerous time or a very opportunist time, depending on what you're trying to accomplish in the halls. And a lot of us spend a lot of time checking to see if bills that we were concerned with, what other bills out there address the same section of the statutes, and we're reading amendments. And that's something you have to do at this time of year. Like I say, sometimes it works for you, and other times it can bite you.
Well, hopefully, and I'm glad to hear that there are people watching this very carefully, because it is a very dangerous time, and I think opportune and dangerous, to me, kind of seem to mean the same thing in these last 2 weeks.
Depends on your point of view.
Yeah.
You won't hear any of us talking about what the issues are, because we don't want to raise the flag to the opponent of that issue. Hey, guess what I just got? So it's a very quiet time down here, too, to some extent.
Well, Alfredo, what bills do you think might come back to life here that we thought were dead?
Oh, I think you've got some issues out there like the lottery, like the neighborhood casino issue that are still on life support in some way or another. That doesn't mean they're going to come out, but I think, I think if I'm the proponent of those issues, I'm not going to give up to the last day either. And I think that is probably more the case than anyone being sneaky. I just simply think that that people have beliefs. They believe that these are good issues, and they're going to fight for them till the end. And I don't blame them.
Well, I think we're lucky in the lobbyist corps, because in the core group of that, there are some real professionals like Alfredo and others, and he's right. They're going to work very hard for their clients right until the end. So, there's still things that people have declared dead that probably aren't yet.
You got to ask these two if they're sneaking anything in these last 2 weeks.
I kind of tried that. It didn't seem to work real well. Okay, just quickly along the three of you here, winners at this session, who would you name?
Excuse me?
Winners at this session.
Winners of the session? I think Barbara Buckley was a huge winner with the payday loan bill. I think that was huge. I think Senator Townsend on the other side. I think they made some significant inroads towards consumer protection there. I think that's a big deal.
Great.
I would say that the winners are not winners yet. It's really, we're in the home stretch now, but I think there are certainly some leaders at this point. I would agree with Fredo that Barbara Buckley has shown herself well. I think Warren Hardy is one that's sort of been quiet, and yet I think he's proven to be a very good chairman of government affairs in the Senate. I think he's proven to be someone who understands the issue. I think he's proven himself, as he did in the assemblies. He's very straightforward and honest, and one that can be trusted. So I think Warren is one that I believe is sort of a dark horse candidate, if you will, to be one of the winners this time. I think he's done a good job.
Well, I think the legislature wins. It's refreshing to see that a Republican Senate and Democratic Assembly can work together and get business accomplished and work out compromises. So I think it's a great juxtaposition to what's happening nationally.
Well, and let's not forget either the Speaker and Washoe getting this tax, the property tax. I think obviously the taxpayers are winners, because it's amazing that this got done as early as it did.
And we are out of time, gentlemen. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Here at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, water resources come from fresh, clean groundwater, approved by state permits. The water is pumped from wells to million-gallon storage tanks and then distributed to TRI companies. Another amenity is our investment in a state-of-the-art wastewater treatment plant. This disposal system converts waste to clean water for industrial applications. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
So, Randy, who's coming up on the show tomorrow?
We have Republican Senator Mike McGinnis and Republican Senator Sandra Tiffany.
It'll be an interesting show. Don't miss it next time on Nevada Newsmakers.